This old guy DIY video has to do with a problem I had a couple of years ago. It took 3 months to solve with a couple of stops at the dealership. I happened to think of it today, so I thought I'd tell you this story. I had a 2001 Suburban that had about 200,000 miles on it. I would stop, put the vehicle in park, turn the key to the off position, pull the key out of the car, and the car would still be running. So I didn't know what the problem was. So I would come in here, grab the fuel pump relay, and on that truck I just put an X on it so I would always know which one to find. But I'd pull the fuel pump relay out and wait for the fuel pump to quit delivering fuel, and the car would stop. And then I would put the relay back in after I had been wherever it was, work or some event, go start the car up, and I had a sporadic problem and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I read a bunch of online forums, and I replaced out the ignition cylinder. I replaced the some kind of switch for the brake pedal. I replaced a bunch of these different relays, and nothing worked. So I went to the GM dealer, and the old guy there asked me if I had it parked for any length of time and if I might have had mice. And I said no. He said, well, you can find that oftentimes mice will get down into the bottom of this housing, and for the sake of this video I just pulled this housing off. It only has a couple of clips that you have to remove to get it off from around the fuse block. But anyway, he said, you know, mice like to get up in here, and if the thing has been stored for a while, you might have had a mouse that chewed through a wire or something, so dig in there. So I pulled this apart and I picked the unit up. Sure enough, I found a dead mouse, but no wires that were frayed. So I thought, what the heck is going on there? So then he suggested that I just go to the junkyard and get a brand new panel here. He said you can go through and check every fuse individually. That takes a while, but you're better off just to buy a new fuse block. So I went to the junkyard, I bought a new fuse block, came home, and as I started to disassemble things to put the new fuse block on, what I found is this wire right here, this positive on the old fuse block, was loose. So I stopped there, I tightened it up, I turned the car on, shut the car off, everything worked. So I verified the tightness on this lug, verified the tightness on that lug, and verified the tightness on the ground, and then I put it back together and I was back in action. So the moral of the story is, if you have a vehicle that you turn the key off, you can actually pull the key out of the ignition and the truck keeps on running, you may want to come up here and check the positive lugs on your fuse block in a 2001 or probably all new body style General Motors vehicles with a 5.3. So it's an interesting story. Maybe I was the only guy in the world that ever had that problem, but that was how I fixed it. Have a nice day.